A profound shift is underway in the heart of Europe, as Hungary, long a part of the EU, announces its intention to align more closely with the BRICS bloc, led by China and Russia. This move, formalized in early 2025, marks a dramatic turn away from the Western alliances that have shaped Hungary's post-Soviet era. The decision is the culmination of years of friction between Budapest and Brussels, with Prime Minister Viktor Orbán positioning himself as a defender of national interests against EU overreach. Hungary's clashes with the EU over judicial reforms, media freedom, and migration have set the stage for this audacious pivot. By joining forces with BRICS, Hungary signals it's ready to forge its own path, even if it means distancing itself from the European family it joined 2 decades ago. The implications are immense, challenging the EU's narrative of unity and shared democratic values. Hungary's move raises tough questions about the EU's ability to maintain cohesion, especially as alternative global power centers gain influence. For many, this eastward turn feels like a rejection of the liberal democratic order that emerged after the Cold War. The government frames it as pragmatic, seeking prosperity in a multipolar world, while critics warn of dangerous entanglements with authoritarian regimes. Hungary is gambling its future on new alliances, and the outcome will reverberate across Europe. The story of Hungary's bold move is just beginning. Hungary's pivot is rooted in economic necessity and a fierce commitment to sovereignty. Heavily dependent on Russian energy, Hungary has resisted EU efforts to cut ties with Moscow, arguing that such moves would devastate its economy. Orbán's government has passed the Sovereignty Protection Law, aiming to shield Hungary from foreign influence, though critics see it as a tool to stifle dissent. The EU has withheld billions in funding over concerns about democratic backsliding, but Budapest views this as political blackmail. These disputes have poisoned relations, making a strategic shift toward BRICS seem not just attractive, but essential. Orbán argues that the Western-led order is fading, and Hungary must adapt by building ties with rising powers like China. Defying EU sanctions and enacting sovereignty laws are part of a coherent strategy to reposition Hungary in a changing world. The goal: economic security and national autonomy, even if it means loosening ties with Europe. Hungary's eastward pivot is defined by deepening ties with Russia and China. Energy dependence anchors its relationship with Moscow, as Hungary secures long-term gas contracts and expands its Russian-backed nuclear plant. With China, Hungary has become a key gateway for investment, hosting major projects like the Budapest-Belgrade Railway and new manufacturing hubs. These partnerships are part of a broader alignment with BRICS, offering Hungary access to new markets and investment, and a forum where sovereignty is prioritized. By joining BRICS, Hungary signals its ambition to operate beyond the West's orbit. This transactional, interest-based foreign policy is pragmatic but risky, deepening reliance on non-democratic powers and isolating Hungary within the EU. The government sees opportunity. Critics see vulnerability. Hungary is now caught between 2 competing global systems. At the heart of Hungary's shift is a clash of ideologies: Orbán's national conservatism versus the Brussels model. The Hungarian model prioritizes workfare, low taxes, and national control over key sectors, especially energy. Social policy centers on supporting traditional families, with generous benefits for parents and married couples. Orbán contrasts this with the EU's push for shared debt, progressive taxes, and open migration. Policies he claims threaten national identity. He frames Brussels as an overreaching bureaucracy, eroding sovereignty and imposing conformity. This narrative resonates with many Hungarians and is central to Orbán's foreign policy. By promoting the Hungarian model, Orbán positions himself as a leader for other EU skeptics. The pivot to BRICS is both a rejection of Western liberalism and a bet on a multipolar future. To reinforce the Hungarian model, Orbán's government has rolled out targeted social policies that set it apart from the EU mainstream. Childcare benefits are now tax-free, and mothers with 3 or more children enjoy lifetime income tax exemptions. Law enforcement and military personnel have received special allowances, while pensioners benefit from restored bonuses. These policies are strategic investments in political loyalty, rewarding groups seen as the nation's backbone. Unlike the EU's broad social safety nets, Hungary's approach rewards specific life choices, like marriage and childbirth. The government uses these measures to argue that it, not Brussels, is the true guarantor of citizens' well-being. Domestically, these policies build a loyal base ahead of elections. Internationally, they showcase the Hungarian model as a conservative alternative to Western Europe's high-tax, high-debt systems. It's policy-based public relations, winning support at home and sending a message abroad. The EU's response to Hungary's pivot has been a mix of alarm and frustration. Major powers like Germany and France see Budapest's embrace of Russia and China as a betrayal, undermining EU unity. Calls for tougher action have grown, with some demanding Hungary be cut off from EU funds or stripped of its veto power. Yet, Hungary's defiance has emboldened Eurosceptic parties elsewhere, deepening divisions within the bloc. The situation is complicated by Hungary's own contradictions. Despite anti-EU rhetoric, Budapest recently joined an EU defense loan initiative. This pragmatism makes it hard for the EU to respond decisively, as Hungary continues to benefit from membership while challenging its core principles. The standoff exposes a dangerous fault line: deeper integration versus national sovereignty. Hungary's actions force the EU to confront its own vulnerabilities. Hungary's alignment with BRICS is the EU's biggest unity test since Brexit. By prioritizing ties with Russia and China, Hungary challenges the EU's foundation of shared values and solidarity. Its frequent vetoes have already weakened the bloc's foreign policy, projecting disunity to the world. If Hungary's model gains traction, other disaffected states may follow, risking a fragmented, multi-speed Europe. The crisis forces the EU to choose double down on its values, risking a split, or allow more flexibility to keep the bloc together. Orbán's vision of concentric circles of cooperation touches on a real dilemma: rigidity versus adaptability. The Hungarian challenge is a stress test for the European project. The outcome will shape the future of European cohesion. Hungary's pivot to BRICS is a high-stakes gamble with profound consequences. Success could mean economic growth and a unique role as a bridge between East and West. But the risks are real. Dependence on authoritarian powers, potential debt traps, and isolation from the EU's market and security guarantees. Politically, Hungary risks pariah status in Europe, with uncertain support from its new partners. The government is betting that economic gains will outweigh geopolitical risks, but that's far from certain. The next years will reveal whether Hungary's move is visionary or reckless. The outcome will determine not just Hungary's fate, but the future of sovereignty and alliances in Europe. The world is watching as Hungary charts its course into uncharted waters.